everyone, how's it going? This is Tracilyn. I don't know where my camera microphone is. This it? Over here to the left. Where is it? Over here. Here. There. Oh, look at this. Awesome speaker. I am in the restroom at Dorothy Main Market in Springboro, Ohio. See? Check out the doors to the restroom. I'm going to show you where I used to attend NSAI songwriting group meetings so we could critique each other's songs together in a group of people. I'll get to explain it sometime, but I'm going to make a go for this because I don't think I'm supposed to. In the restroom, yes, but not too long. You want to go first? There you go. Check it out. Ta-da! You see the glass? I really like that. I'll show you. It's on the second floor of the grocery store market. I guess they call it a market. Dorothy Lane's Market. You go up the steps, the staircase. And pretty much on the second floor. I'll walk around a little bit, but I don't want to upset anybody right now, so I don't think I'm supposed to be walking around up here. Check this out. In the glass, isn't that cool? And when I came here, I don't know how many times I might have attended in here. Maybe just once, maybe twice. Maybe you attended. I know a lady by the name of Bobby did. And when I attended, I was at either this table, but I think I was up at the next one, the second one up from here. So not this one, but the next one. And most likely, I sat in either that chair. I think that's where I sat. I'm almost positive. I'm known to sit on the end of tables a lot rather than in the middle, unless I'm with people that I love a lot, meaning I'm with them on a regular basis and I really like to be around them. And I like trying to squeeze in the middle. So I can help out, of course. And look, it looks like there would be a fireplace, but I'm not sure. Is that what it is? Right over there. And up where that front table is, let me see. It's right after the fireplace. Then over here is the front table. And that table wasn't there when I was here at least one time. And I got to sing New York, New York. Actually, it's a song I wrote called Manhattan, New York. Forever I'll love you, Manhattan, New York. You know, I'm gonna make 2 versions of it coming up soon on my next album. Actually, it won't be for a couple years yet, but let's see where this microphone is. Camera. That's it. Was the summer alone now? The touch of his hand in mine, guiding through time's sway, laughing and free again. The spirit of the lady, clothed for the world to see. Accompanied by a gentleman, Big Apple fed, new life began. Forever I'll love you, New York. Only it's not exactly the way it goes. Something like that. It's been a long time. I've been working on my ragtop album. I'm calling it Could Have It All, and it actually was going to be, back in like 2011, it was going to be Ragtop Cadillac And then I decided to remove Cadillac and just keep it a ragtop. And not only did I do the ragtop, I also went along the lines of calling it what originally the song was called, which was when I wrote it in 2010, Could Have. So you'll see it. The album cover's done and everything. I have like 7 to 10 more days of going and critiquing my album. And can I tell you, it would be nice, you know, to come here and have NSAI members or people critique it. But you know what I've learned? Not here. I didn't learn it here. But I've learned in life that what you really want to do is what's in your heart. And if people appreciate it, then no, it's great. But if people don't appreciate it, but you do, that's all that matters. And maybe it could be that you could be surrounded in an environment like I was when I was 11 in Pennsylvania. Transsexual females understand this better probably than a majority of people. And that is, the second you start surrendering to the truth within your psychological, you'll find out really quick that most people in your presence don't want anything to do with you. So, are you going to go through life and be you? Or are you going to go through life and be what they want you to be? Not here. I don't mean this. People in general. So it's the same way with songwriting. It's fun to be a part of a group, and I had a lot of fun here. And I got to listen in, and I learned a lot. And I got to hear a lot of awesome songs. And one of the songs that is on my album is Southern Ohio Night. And it was written, inspired by kind of like a group challenge, which I think we used to meet up in Columbus too. So I used to go to a lot of them. I wanted to learn as much as I could, as quick as I could. And I was around a lot of inspirational people who wrote a lot of amazing songs, and when I would hear them talk, they were very intellectually informative. So I got to play out with them a few times, and that was fun to me because I was an entertainer for over 7.5 years as a solo acoustic singer, songwriter. I called myself an acoustic entertainer. And what I used to do is take my acoustic guitar and I would go to venues, sometimes, believe it or not, the size of this, and sometimes a little bit bigger. I would play indoors mainly, or at the bar, or maybe decks. And I learned a lot when I was doing that, and can I tell you, I tried to get people involved and wanting them to come to the shows, to play with me, you know. And sometimes it happened that way, but more so or not, I stopped out to visit a lot of people, like at Rider Nights or at their shows. And I don't want to make this a long vlog at the present moment, but can I tell you that I come from a gospel family, and in that gospel family, everybody on my mom's side of the family, my mom, her brother, and my grandfather, which would be her dad, and her mom, my grandmother, they all led worship, and they used to sing out a lot together in groups. And my brother, or not my brother, my uncle, my mom's brother, recorded quite a few albums with his quartets. For some reason, I've noticed as I went through life that I could not really connect too well with others musically. If you're not careful and you listen to somebody like Joyce Myers, you would think that it's always your fault. Now, how about it's not my fault and there's much more going on? I'm a very sweet, very loving, caring person. I am very driven. I am very inspired. I would say that out of 90-some% of people I met, even musically, I would say that most of what it is that I desire to do is above and beyond either A, what people feel that they're able to do, or B, that they even desire to do. Okay? So with that being said, it has been a struggle with me musically, and I did what I did for a season of time, and I continue to keep trying to reach out to people. And I talked about that in other vlogs. I don't want to talk about that now. But what ended up happening is when I came out here to Ohio, my heart was still hurting, and I really wanted to be in a rock and roll ministry. Okay? That's what I felt in my mind that I was being led to. My calling in life. That's what Christians would call it. It was like a calling in life, if I were to surrender to the truth, was to be in a rock, to form or be in or somehow be involved in a rock and roll ministry. And with that being said, what is that all about? Celebration of life. And of course, our great, mighty, glorious God, who has blessed us with life. I started to lead worship when I was 5 years old, and a lot of things that I've been through in life where I was in the front, I kind of betrayed because I was shy. I didn't really feel confident in my voice at those times. I've only recently come to really like my voice a lot. And I was lost for a very long time. When I came out here, just beforehand, I was an adult entertainer, a traveling escort. I got in trouble with the law. Law's very corrupted, by the way. Police officers, you can't trust them, even if the ones that you think you can. If the pressure's on them, they will be corrupted and enforce laws, and they set people out and make their life miserable, okay? No human being at all goes without having a sinful nature. In other words, there's reasons why people would do it. Like the cop in York, Pennsylvania, who put money in my hand and called me guilty and caused a very miserable experience for me for quite some time. I'll be calling the York police station in the near future. Pretty much to say, you're an asshole. And I want my money back. When your mind's strong, that's when they won't do it. It's when you're broken down and they feel that you're alone and outcasted. See, they target people like that because they want them to what? Commit suicide. Right by York, Pennsylvania. I think I still know the officer's name that was in charge. Yeah. What are you gonna do about it? Slap me with another fine? Huh? So when I came here, I was extremely psychologically broken. For about 2 or 3 months, I wrote songs while I was with my friend Catherine, as I talked about in my videos prior to this. When I moved into Huber Heights, I had adopted somebody psychologically that I called my daddy. And you can laugh if you want to. My physical father is an asshole. And he was to me most of my life. He used to beat me with a belt. Pretty much a slave driver, always wanting me to do chores when I was with him and stuff. And he chinsed out on paying child support, okay? He didn't do as well as I know I wanted to do with my kid. The only thing that I could do, because the laws are corrupted, I found this out, Roger, is give him child support and give him health insurance. This destroyed me psychologically. It was part of the breaking down process, I should say, not destroyed me, because I really wanted a kid for a lot of years. I would say since I was like 15 or 16. I already knew that I wanted a kid, and I wanted to raise him with godly values the best that I could. Right? Well, guess what? The satanic crew, they don't want that to happen. They don't want you, whoever you are, praising with your mouth God, okay? They don't want you doing glorious things. They don't want you to be in tune with we're not supposed to work, but serve the Lord with our life. And by the way, the wonderful taxes. What are they doing with our tax money? They're making up excuses, that's what they're doing. Until their grave day. Tracilyn is snapping towels to the United States government, okay? right against their butt cheeks. It's time that they stop avoiding. Did any of them read the Holy Bible? If they did, how can they have the courage to stand in their position and keep enforcing more laws, considering Christ is all about freedom? I had talked to my daddy, explained to him what it is I wanted to do. I didn't have any money at that time because I was done escorting. And though he was helping me a lot, I did not want to keep asking him for finances to do other endeavors because I understood that I was an entertainer for over a decade, so I understand that where to put money at and where it's not a necessity and absolute. And one thing that was an absolute is that I had a safe place to live. I had a nice bedroom. It was small, but I liked it. And I missed that house a lot, but not necessarily the evil things that happened there. But I kind of thought that if I ever get property, that I would probably rebuild that house somewhere, even if I lived in a different house, which would probably be psychologically better. Probably that's the house. Did you ever feel that way? Like I witnessed the house that I would get the blueprints and I would build it on my property somewhere. Not run down now, maybe with alterations that I could go and visit. Or you go back in time and as long as the property's there, you be owner of it or something. Just because. I think as time goes on psychologically and you go through healing, a lot of people would say there are certain homes, whether it's one they lived in or not, that they would go back in time and maybe get the blueprints or you would buy that house. I'm kind of excited because I've been looking at getting a new cell phone because these are, in my opinion, the best years of my life. And my 40s, as I was entering into them, I would have to say I was psychologically going through warfare. I really want my 50s and my 60s to be the best decades of my life, and I would love to have amazing technology to capture every moment with myself, with things like this, you know, that I can share. Through this group, I got to meet a lot of very cool people. I am still on a Yahoo account with them. I have learned a lot. They invited me to be a part of different singing, like in public places occasions. I'm still interested to this day. It's just that I'm working in a studio all the time for the last few years, and I still will be. I have a lot of work to do on the songs I wanted to record. I'm making progress. I'm done with 3 albums, and starting in like December, I'm going to be working on my 4th. And the 4th album is going to be very special because it's remakes of some of the songs that I've done. Because I had a really challenging time trying to honor my heart during this occasion in 2010 is when I came here. So 2010, 2011 to where I'm at 2020. So I'm trying to honor who I am today, psychologically, while going back in time and being my best friend, sitting down beside me. Right? I like those clear chairs. That's where I sat. I would have sat down over here or over there beside me. I would have tried to get to know myself. So that way I could help myself out. But there's a good chance we wouldn't have got along too well, would we? I really liked being in this room. At least the one time that I was here. I don't remember if I came more than once, but it was at least once. And one of the really cool things that occurred is somebody that was in our group, and I viewed him kind of as a leader, and I really valued when he would speak and share. And I liked when him and a couple of the other people that were perceived as like NSAI leaders would critique my songs. That meant a lot to me. You can get them to, you know, read along and then give their input. That would mean a lot to a songwriter. An inspirational one who wants to be great. Like, I really want to be a great songwriter, not just, I don't know how to put it, I don't want to just write songs. Because my mom listens to country music a lot. She didn't like me earlier. She wanted me to be careful what I listened to. And today I don't blame her. And I'm very thankful that I had a mother like that. She was very loving to me, and I'm very grateful. But she was mindful, and she would tell me, I don't really appreciate you listening to stuff like that. So I'd be like, I go into my room sometimes and I think about what she said. Like, why would that be? You know, but I understood, and I would read the lyrics. She told me not to get music without the lyrics. That way, if she wanted to read them, she could. Okay? So that's the kind of mother I had, and she was very friendly about it. She was not mean. And there were some bands that I liked and that she did not like me listening to. She didn't want it filling my head. So as a songwriter, obviously, if you take it serious enough, then you realize that you have obligations and responsibilities to your own belief system. Your own belief system that you might not be 100% sure of just yet. Which means you might write songs 30 years ago, and 30 years later, why did I write stuff like that? I know why I wrote songs like that. And today, there's sometimes people, they won't even sing their songs or about a subject. I have been very lucky. I love all of my songs, and I try to remove some things that I don't really care for that much. For instance, one of them was beer. Excuse me, snot out the nose. One of them had beer in my song, okay? That's all it is. It talks about what it is. Have yourself an ice cold beer, okay? That's it. Because I used to play out in venues, and my prayer to God was, before I started playing venues, I wanted a song that shared with other people of what I'm about. That song, as I talked about before, is just you and me. Well, when I recorded it, and it's going to be on this album, and I really like it a lot, I removed beer. And I just put ice cold drink. Because I want to do family occasions, and I'm very serious about it. I want to do all age groups. So whether a baby's still in here, or if it's somebody who's saying, I got it myself, I got it myself, sweetheart. You don't need to help me. I'm 105 years old. Then I want them to be invited and treated with respect at shows that they play. Okay? And you can't say that I'm making this up, because if you were to look back on my history of playing over 1,000 shows, I promoted the fact that I don't want to be discriminative. The only thing I do discriminate against, and I don't want to because I understand people are going through things, is mean people. I can't stand mean people. Not in me. I don't like when I'm mean, and I don't like when you're mean. Calm down. So check this out. One of the coolest things that I heard in here is that I got to hear everybody's songs. And there was a lady by the name of Lorna. I'm almost positive that's how you say her name. And I still listen to her song today. She made it on video in Yellow Springs. I think it's called Supergirl or something like that. And you know that I can truly relate to every word of those songs. That song, I did not really pay much attention in 2010 when I heard it, but I liked it, and as I was recording in the studio since 2014, 15, 16, now 2020, I downloaded the video. I'm thankful that I found it, and I listened to it on occasion, and I tried reaching out to her. She did not reply back. So I hope she's doing well, and I think she's in California now. But wherever she is, I hope she's doing well, and I hope that everyone that I attended NSAI with, I want to say one of my greatest thanks is that it was free to me, because I was living with somebody who was taking care of me, and I did love him a lot. I still do love him very much. And I did not want to, I wanted to make use of any finances that was coming from him. And and preferably for emergencies or to take care of myself. I'm okay with treats and doing fun things for myself, but I was trying to be very mindful, and I was hoping my life would turn around someday and I would be able to take care of myself. I happen to like taking care of myself, and I happen to like having plenty. Okay? And there's a lot of people that don't like that I feel that way. Too bad. And then they're blaming on the fact that I was an escort, but I was a human being first, and if you really knew God's rights and what was intended for the human race, you would understand why I want the very best of everything for me. Well, there's one of the gentlemen that was here that was very inspirational to me. And he had mentioned to me that there was somebody in the local area that he felt that I should meet that is also a songwriter, he does recordings. And he'll connect us, introduce us together, and maybe we can hit it off. And can I tell you that he took me over to meet Paul, David Bach, and Paul at the time was pretty much doing something very similar to what it is I've done. He was entertaining barroom crowd, and it's like a restaurant in a barroom. And it's a place he played regularly, and he had a lot of friends that were there and played along with him. Through this relationship and going to NSAI, I had the opportunity to become connected to Paul David Bach. And that's a whole nother story that I'm hoping to share someday, like in depth. You know, I would say that Paul David Bach's music, in short, quite a few years ago, before I even started doing musical live performances, it was in the 90s. Probably when Kurt Cobain was still alive. And I was sitting in my car, and I was going through the radio, and because I was going through a great state of depression psychologically, I wasn't connecting with my soulmate. I wanted to have a family, I was hoping to have a home someday, like a house, build a house and stuff. And there was a lot of things I wanted to do, but I was waiting on a relationship to occur, like a best friend thing. There's a big part of me that I wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to do a whole lot of different things. I just didn't know what it was I wanted, and I didn't know how to go about it. With that being said, voila! I end up here. I got to meet Paul David Bach, and I've been listening to his music almost every single day, hours at a time. I picked out of his albums. I got all of them during the time that he had transitioned on. They had a viewing of material and stuff, and reflecting back through his life and his musical endeavors. And I got the opportunity to grab every one of his CDs that was available, but I didn't want to use those CDs. I want to hold them forever. As long as I'm alive, I want to keep them. And in short, one of the reasons is I was really looking forward in this lifetime to connect with other people who are more passionate about music than me, and take their endeavors, I don't want to say serious, but they do it in a manner that says that is a big part of their day-to-day life. For Paul it was singing his music every day and stuff, and then recording. Paul, attending in the near future, I'll explain to you in about 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to take me about 2 or 3 weeks yet. And he used to have people that were considered to be national musicians, and they played on some of his songs that he wrote. And he used to have guest, friend, family, people sing on his albums. Now, I don't know if I necessarily wanted to do that, not exactly the way he did, but I mean, I don't know how I really wanted to do it. I just wanted to do certain things, and I kept putting my songs on standby. I until I felt that it was the right time. And I was trying to originally connect with other people so that I could record with others. And I also lacked the confidence in, I guess, recording myself. And a lot of it was, I realized that I have been being tormented my whole entire life, which you might be most likely tormented as well your whole entire life. And I've explained that in other videos. I don't want to make it about that. I felt like this added classiness to me, and that was important. I don't want to promote Dorothy Lane Market, but I will tell you that I feel that the atmosphere is extremely classy compared to some of the other places that I've been. Okay, and that means a lot to me because I was hoping to eventually have an entirely different circumstances. Okay, or at least a blend, more of a healthier blend of atmospheres. I joke around in my studio sometimes. I think that I'm going to have at least one musician, but maybe a couple of them with their nose up in the air. And they're considered to be very, 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 very snooty. I have a little bit better of an understanding why. And therefore, I would really like that a lot. That's probably a heck of a musician, by the way. Look at the lights. This is really cool. I wish I could go in there. You see the lights up there? And they're all lit up. I think they're all white. I'm not 100% sure. It might be like a off-white. And I don't know if they had the fireplace on, but this would be, I used to think, because if I ever have a home, I would really, I mean, I live in an apartment now, but, or at least to visit a home with a fireplace. Do you find that romantic? I just, fireplace, whether it's real or not, it's romantic. Even just the appearance of a fireplace. And you know, when I was a kid, because I lived in apartments most of my life, not the entire time, but most of it, for Christmas, I used to get the wall chimney. It would have like a fireplace, so it was like a picture, and I'd put it on the wall. It was for Christmas. It was like for Santa to come down, because I used to ask my mom, like, how does Santa get into our apartment? So I made it, and I said, you know, I wish it was real, you know, but to me it was good enough, and I would put lights around it, and I would decorate around it, like with garland. I used to like silver a lot. I'm a big silver lover. So I don't know what actual pure, if it is a pure source of what pure silver is like, but that's something that I've always been interested in, to at least glance at. So we only get funneled to us what we get funneled to us. Doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, we will always be this way, maybe someday not. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? Look at this place. I don't really like to promote, especially stores that I don't know a whole lot about. But there is an escort by the name of Tracilyn, who is close to my Lord, closer than all of you. Because we're going to be watching it later on when we edit it. You don't want to see yourself like this. We don't like when that happens. Okay, so, and then you get to upload them and share them, and, you know, always know you're doing the best you can. Finally, 10.5 years later. One of the songs I was very proud to bring here is on my album. A couple of them are actually. It's on my album, and that one is called Ragtime. Let's take a long cruise in a ragtop Cadillac, or hold tight as we ride a panhandle Harley. That is going to be it. We were going to send this to them later. It's here now. I'm going to just make a quick walk through. Okay, there's an elevator there, so I'm sure I can do that. When I do, you'll get to see the whole place, and they'll probably tell me, you can't be up here doing that. Because evidently everything could get contaminated. And guess what? There's a good chance if there's any virus, then it probably happened overseas in another country where there was a huge explosion by a man-made doings, and they don't want to share with you the truth. Because I've been around since 1972, and there ain't no virus take anyone out that I'm aware of. Bobby, and I used to like that because what? Bobby McGee. She sings, I don't even know how to classify it, but yeah, she sees this video at all. She could put in the writing what she would classify it as, but it's kind of like, I don't want to say Viking kind of music, but it's definitely music from like a time era that I would not, like folk. I guess is it like folk? It's more like folk, yes. That's it. I met a few Vikings out here when I first came out. Unfortunately, one had transitioned on, and I'm hoping at some point that I can visit the area where they were buried. I would really like to do that and share with you some intimate thoughts on that subject. I really appreciate, because I wanted more people to be a part of my musical video endeavors. Now here's the thing with this. So I got to meet Paul. That's a long story in itself, and I don't want to explain that right now. But we got to do a little bit together. We got to sing together. I got to hear him sing a lot at his, house. And I got to play out a few shows. He even got me a show at the same place we met in Vandalia. And I already talked about that stuff, so I don't want to keep talking about it. Can I tell you that while I was homeless, the same person I called my daddy had kicked me out several times. So, with that being said, being a fan of Joyce Meyer's, Joel Olstein, you keep telling me to trust God, I don't know that I can get Social Security. Now I have something to trust God with. Why? Because I'm aware that the government's a bunch of assholes, and they don't want people to know how they can get their needs met. They don't even want you to know that your true needs are to be met by God. And by the way, God owns all resources, which means I shouldn't pay for food. People should be doing it with their heart, a service to the Lord, and it's alive people, instead of making them pay for it. Let's walk around here really quick and look at a quick glance. What I wanted to say is I wanted to connect with people, and Paul is one of the only ones, because I was homeless often, because I didn't know how to get my needs met, and if I did, I would have been staying in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, not home. I ought to sue the government just because I have the shakes now whenever I go out in public, because I don't wear a mask. Do you know how many people yell at me or question me why I'm not wearing a mask? I don't believe that, okay? I believe the government is liars.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I've got a mask if you need one.
I don't wear a mask. I can't wear a mask. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, I hope not, because I have the camera on.
That's why I just asked if you needed one. I have one
No,
for
I
you.
don't need one. I
We're
appreciate
good.
it.
All right.
Thank you. And as you can see, I get really extremely upset about that. That's how people are. You need a mask, you need a mask. I lived my whole life since 1972 until about 37, until I was 37. And then I finally learned more about me, and I wanted to come out and surrender to the truth. And as I surrendered to the truth, I found out how corrupted the police officers are. I found out how corrupted the government is. I was reaching out for help since 2008. Please help me. I don't know how to get my needs met. I don't want to be homeless, okay? I don't. I want a home. And now that I know what I know, I believe the government fucking owes me. That's what I think. And now they're making my life hell, okay? And I don't appreciate it. The virus is fake. And by the way, you do more damage to your body when you cuddle. Why don't you let me come through this camera to Donald Trump and take a pillow and just put it over his mouth? Okay? That's what somebody maybe should do. The governor, the mayor, nobody has a right to tell you to put something over your mouth. So I'm not supposed to live any of the years of my life totally free and enjoying myself. I think I'm going to end up in DC, and you're going to have the biggest lawsuit ever in American history. That's what I believe. And I believe I'm not coming there alone. I believe I'm coming there with some serious lawyers. What do you think of that? And for all of you who think you're going to be getting your pensions, they're going to be yanked away from you. And you're going to be what? There's going to be people incarcerated in the government. For the first time in a long time, right? What do you think of that? What if all of DC, what if a large percentage of DC gets locked up and thrown into prison for the rest of their existence? Wouldn't that be nice? Say it, it would be awesome. I feel like taking those masks and cramming them down somebody's face. You know, that's ignorant. I wear a mask like when I go get varicose vein treatment, but outside of that, I'm sick of people questioning me. Okay? My belief system is different, and the government doesn't have the right to exclude me from anything because God owns everything. And God didn't tell Tracilyn, you better wear a mask because a virus is moving in. This is an escort who slept with over 1,000 people, by the way, and by God's grace, who told me to stay focused, I didn't get one virus. One sexually transmitted disease. But I listened to Joyce Myers, right? And then I gave myself away for free, and then I have bumps that I'm still getting treated since like 2013. What do you think of that? We still have like 2 or 3 more visits to go. They're little tiny little bumps. Huh? Thank you, Joyce Myers. Give yourself away for free. Stop doing things for money. Is that it? How about don't do it at all? You're supposed to remain what? Remain pure. And some people don't want to just go giving themselves away for free, especially to low life. Next time somebody wants to get on their knees and serve me, where's your yacht? Where's your yacht? Where's your acres and acres of land? Where's your home at? What kind of car do you drive? Okay? Do you have any horses? Do you have a wife? Is she friendly? Are you looking to adopt? A bratty little kid who wants their way. This is called The Loft at Dorothy Lane Market. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I'm hot. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna take you on a tour really quick, but I have a feeling they're gonna be in the right to tell me I can't do it. I'm gonna scram. Look at these glass chairs. Look at the floor. It reminds me a little bit of malls that I used to go to, like at Park City in Manheim. A little bit. I used to love going to malls. Water fountains going, and they were like classy in appearance and stuff. A lot of times I didn't buy a whole lot, but I love to hang out in the atmospheres like that. wish I knew somebody that would play. Are you a piano player? That would be really cool. So anyway, I'm gonna go back this way. We're gonna table for two, please. We can always pull up a third chair and a fourth chair. Huh? Hello. Is it Squeaky? Or somebody who like Laverne and Shirley. Man. Okay, we're gonna come over here really quick. We're ready to go. So this is not aimed at for the NSAI group, and maybe someday I will share it because I'm going to do a 1972 to now. I'm making phone calls, and I would just like to say, whoever founded the NSAI group, for anybody who's head chairman's way up there, I'm very grateful that it was free. And the reason is because nobody would give me a job. A reasonable job that I could survive on. I didn't know about low-income housing. Nobody even told me what a food pantry was. I come from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. We don't say food pantries, we say canneries, which aren't free anyway. Just very minimal. And I'm sick of having very minimal. Do you understand that? We can afford to build a multi-billion-dollar neighborhood in New York City, is that it? And guess what? God can take it out like that. What do you think of that? Go on. I wanted to show you this. Here's a big clock. That's it. Look up here. I like stuff like that. Look at the ceiling. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm hoping someday I can stop in and say hello to everyone. I would like to share my experience since I've been recording on my own, what has actually occurred to me, but some of you may already know. And that is, if you have any kind, what's the...
You wear the wear mask.
I'm sorry, I cannot. I'm going to leave. All right, since you have a problem with it. You're not... Would you like to say your name into the camera? No, you don't want to? Do you know that I have health reasons and that I cannot wear it?
That's fine. We didn't say anything about it.
Okay, but that's like the second or third time I was approached, and I tried to be very nice about it. Okay, I don't want to offend nobody. I was just telling everybody how much I like your mark. Okay, so, and I'm going to leave.
I didn't ask you to leave.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hold on. There, I got you on video also. What are
You
we
do?
doing video of?
Huh?
Why are we taking videos?
Because I used to do, I'm a songwriter, and I used to come
A
here.
songwriter, me too.
And I say,
How about that?
You are? Really?
So-
My name is Tracilyn Michael. I live in Dayton, Ohio. Is it still on?
I don't really care.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Just hold it up.
Okay.
What are we doing now?
Huh? I'm getting ready to leave.
Are you writing a song?
Huh?
You
No,
writing a song
I'm
now?
just sharing a video for YouTube.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Have a nice day. This mask thing, let me tell you something, has been stressing me out. I literally want to take people and throw them over their ass. Because I'm sick of being told about it. Okay? At DC, are you on acid? I think you've been tripping. You like to mess up people's lives is what you like to do. With that being said, timing is everything. And as I'm coming into a healing, I'm realizing how lost all Americans are. And it's amazing that a few people in suits and ties can literally dominate over top of people by passing laws. Do you know that laws don't apply to a Christian believer? And you realize more so or not that most of the laws have been made to strangle people and keep them from living a genuine life of freedom and happiness, peace and fulfillment. That's what Donald Trump's about, okay? So those who praise his name, okay? And rest assured, is it gonna be his kid or is it gonna be his grandchild? Oh, they're coming into the White House too to pass more laws against us. It's good I only did have one child. I am getting ready to leave because I also have an hour of recording on you. The NSAI group was a necessity for me at the time. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot about writing songs, okay, and challenges in picking these subjects specifically, and doing it together as a group. It was great to be a part of something like that, and then to be able to have the opportunity to get together in our own round several times and share it at writer nights, or even down in Cincinnati, I think, at one an amusement type street fair type thing in the parking lot. I really like that. We were in a tent at one time, and that was pretty much it. Then I went on the road as an escort yet again. I found out that people were plugging into my mind. I think there's a chip in my back of my head. I think we all do. If you have a social security number, you have a chip in you. And with that being said, they were really, their computers that are hooked up to us are to keep us distant from a heavenly presence and heavenly life and our eternity. If you do not believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I would say to you, a challenge. Seek and think of the possibilities, and you will start to realize how quickly law enforcement will be around you with bugs in their ears, black vehicles, spying on you, watching you all over the place, wherever you go. Okay? That's what has happened to me. They try to get you into very secluded, very lonely places, and they try to make all the homeless problems. Ask Donald Trump what he's going to do with all the homeless that are scattered throughout the United States, and why he doesn't care more about that than he cares about the billion-dollar neighborhood that they're building in New York. And then ask him, since everything belongs to God, and everything belongs to the believer, whoever the human is, if they believe in Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior, then why isn't he out there or sending people out there with Bibles and telling them, you know, if you believe in Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, you'll be given a free home, food, and away you can go on your own personal endeavors in life. We're entitled to more than just water. Man tries to tell you the basic necessities of shelter and water. But God tells you all things belong to God. No man can claim ownership. So that's why they come after your songs and stuff. And for anybody who's into this, one of the things that I would try to raise awareness about is much like they can see through your eyes and hear through your ears. They're plugged into your brain, so anything, all your senses go into another human, as many human existences as are paying attention to you directly, plugged into you. They also can go onto your computers, and they take everything. Most people who have accomplished worldly things like musical endeavors and career, the truth of the matter is, they probably know more about that than they have ever shared with us. And if you pay attention to their interviews, you will probably notice that they do mention a few times little hints every now and then. That being said, what ended up happening is it took me all the way to 2014 before I finally knew get Social Security, get your needs met, get low income. Okay. I haven't been kicked out once. I have plenty of healthy food for now. Got to go to all my doctor's appointments. Okay? I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better. However, I'm really upset because I'm stressed all the time, knowing that people are playing with my thoughts all the time, making it very difficult for me to record my music. There's the audio, it breaks up the audio all the time. They slow down the computer. I have a hard drive that's the standard, like rotor, if you would, the spindle. And they jolt it with electricity. And when they do that, it causes it to skip. It causes serious latency in the computer. They try to do that because it causes you to work harder and more. And what I heard from my own producer from years ago is they simply don't want you recording it. And they most certainly want you paying for everything rather than just doing things yourself. They hate people who are free. I can't stand that either. And they work through people. So if you ever want to know where the world's greatest problems are coming from in the human race, how about from NASA? And NASA knows more of what's up in outer space than we do. We don't necessarily believe the heavenly angels are up there. It could be hell's angels. People who like to screw up the human race. We only know what we've been taught. We don't necessarily know that there's something inside of us that says there's much more, and most likely a lot different than we have been taught. So, with that being said, I got my apartment in 2014. I have been recording ever since then. That's when I started to really notice these things. Not to mention on the streets, busking in 2012 and 13. When they started approaching me, they looked like undercover Fed agents, military men, right pat Air Force kind of stuff. Okay, the crew cuts, the little stubbles on their head, and their khaki pants. And they just want to let you know that they're basically trying to dominate you to do what they want you to do. They can't stand songwriters, especially tall, beautiful ones that have been escorts and understand how corrupted the law is. I'm on my third album. It's taken me 6 years to get to this one. Did a lot of music videos. I didn't have enough time after all of that to finally connect with others, to do things with, and I gotta say, once I got started, that I'm very grateful that I did not, because I would have missed a lot of the things that I've learned while in the studio, like simply knowing how much I'm able to really truly do. And there's much more room than that. And if I wasn't harassed like I was, my music would be absolutely outstanding. I'm gonna get going, so I probably upsetting them, I guess, because I will not wear a mask. I don't know, you tell me, leave a comment down below. Is this like a mandatory law enforcement, or is it a high recommendation? Because I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. You wanna come along? Say goodbye to everyone. It's nice. I want to kiss them. Goodbye, you all. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye. Very kind. Look at this. It must be their logo. We go down, we go down, 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 down. I like this lights. Here we go. Alright, out the door we go. I'm gonna leave it on. This is what I like. Produce. Look at the pretty lights back there. So anyway, came in here. I remember when I first came in here in 2010. I didn't really know where to go. And I had to ask. I told them I was here with a songwriters group, NSAI. Could they help me? And it's up there. We're gonna get going because they are watching me always. I have a way of upsetting people, don't I? And they get me upset too, because I can't stand when somebody tries to bully me around. I dealt with it through elementary school. I thought those days were over. The government passes laws and shit. Guess what? It leads into people who are free, to be bullied around. And sooner or later, that person who's being bullied is going to end up in DC and ask them what their problem is. I'm not proud to be American. I'm thankful to be alive. Okay, American culture is BS. It's out of alignment. That is the first place, or one of the places, I'm sorry, that's one of the places I used to come to meet with my NSAI group. Nashville's NSAI. Nashville Songwriters Association International. Ooh.